Good evening, I'm Rapiz and Emiejaen from BSN Side 3B. Module 11, Arts and Creative Literacy. Learning Outcomes. 1. Define arts and creative literacy. 2. Identify the 7 habits of highly creative people. 3. Explain eye-hand coordination and some associated disorders, interventions, and developments. 4. Compare and contrast visual and verbal creativity. 5. Discuss aesthetics and the 3 approaches from a philosophical perspective. 6. Cite ways on how to integrate arts and creative literacy in the curriculum. 7. Draw relevant life lessons and significant values from a personal experience in creating an artwork or presenting a performance critiqued by others. 8. Analyze research abstract on creative literacy and its implication to teaching-learning process. 9. Create an artwork and evaluate it using self-made assessment rubric. Interactive presentation. Charade. This is an activity where the student guesses the word acted out by a classmate as a clue. It entails critical thinking and analysis, creativity, nonverbal communication, and kinesthetic skill while enhancing motivation among students to enjoy the learning. Procedure. 1. The teacher calls a student in front to act out a word related to art and creativity. 2. The class guesses the words with the help of the action hint given. 3. Any student can give as many guesses until the correct one is provided. 4. The teacher will post all the words on the board as his or her way of presenting the lesson. 5. The class will find time for a brief reflection on the activity. Samples of words for charade. 1. Orchestra, makeup design, sculpture, interior design, fashion design, sand art. Educators must be imaginative. Why? Because critical thinking and creativity are essential skills to teach in all aspects of education. Educators must have thorough understanding of creative literacy in order to determine their own and their students' creativity. So, what is creativity? According to the book, creativity is a process of having original ideas that have value. It is also the ability to see the world in new ways. It is the act turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. It is the ability to view the world in different ways, to identify hidden patterns, to have association between apparently unrelated phenomena, and to produce solutions are all characteristics of creativity. Creativity also opens our mind, broadens our perspective, and can help us overcome prejudice. As such, creativity is a combinatorial force, the ability to tap one's inner pool of resources such as knowledge, insight, information, inspiration, and the fragments in the mind to combine them in extraordinary new ways. Creativity begins with the foundation of knowledge, learning a discipline, and mastering a way of thinking. Creativity can be learned by experimenting, exploring, questioning assumption, using imagination, and synthesizing information. The ability to generate creative and innovative ideas is not merely a function of the mind, but also a function of the 5 key behaviors that optimize brain for discovery. 5 key behaviors. Associating is the ability to connect, expand knowledge through reading, travel, which help build random connection between different fields that could spark innovative ideas. Questioning. It is more powerful and engaging to propose as what ifs, where potential solution is offered and often leads to creative thinking and idea generation. Observing. Patiently observing things help us identify problems that unknowingly exist and new solution would come up. Networking. It provides insights into different perspectives that could unintentionally inspire creative and unique ideas. Experimenting. Allow ourselves to try new ideas and embrace failures because failures can often be better learning experience than success. Developing literacies of the arts and creativity involves design of the physical environment, the emotional environment, scheduling, organization, and implementation of the curriculum and instruction, and the attention to the body and brain. So therefore, teachers should be empowered in developing these literacies among students with the support of the administration. These 7 habits would help teachers attain highest possible level of creativity. 7 habits of highly creative people. Prepare the ground. Let the desire to create come from a pure pleasure of creative expression. If you worry about being perfect, you may never begin. Plant seeds for creativity. We amplify what we think about most. Set an intention to produce the results you desire. Live in the question. Pay attention to questions other people ask, especially those from artists, scientists, and thought leaders. Collect questions you find compelling. Feed your brain. Be curious and follow your nose. Combining ideas and making connections are the key practices of creativity employed by artists, designers, and scientists. Experiment and explore. If you follow your curiosity, experiment with ideas, and learn from your mistakes, the quality of your creativity will vastly improve. Replenish your creative stock. Replenishing process is a field rotation. When we need a break, we switches form from singing, dancing, to painting or creating essays. Liberate your creativity. While there is no magic bullet that will liberate our creativity, it can be helpful to remember how we played as a child. Creativity comes in many forms. In business, it is a way of thinking to find solutions and create opportunities. In art design, it is the generation of new ideas and style. In education, it is how teachers impact learners' academic performance through innovative teaching styles. And lastly, in science, scientists use their imagination to come up with explanation. In most of our creative activities and endeavors, we integrate eye-hand coordination as we inhibit our usual body functioning. What is eye-hand coordination? It is the coordinated control of the eye movement with hand movement and the processing of visual input to guide reaching and grasping along with the use of proprioception of hands to guide the eyes. Eye-hand coordination is the ability to do activities that require stimulus use of our hands and eyes. It can be observed in diverse activities such as the movement of objects, handwriting, catching a ball, sports, performance, music, reading, computer gaming, typing, and others. In short, it becomes part of the system of performing everyday tasks. Without it, people would be unable to carry out even the simplest actions in daily life. Hand-eye coordination is important for child development and academic success, which is equally important among adults to use in countless activities on a daily basis. Obviously, visual information is used to correct inappropriate behavior in a situation. Examples of eye-hand coordination. In writing, when making lines, the eyes send visual information to the brain to tell where the hand is placed and if handwriting is legible. Typing on a keyboard. Although the types of movement are different, but visual information is used to tell the brain how to guide the hand or if a mistake needs to be corrected. When driving, it uses visual information to move the hands on the wheel, keeping the car in the middle of the lane and avoiding accidents. In sports, in any sports, the eyes usually coordinate with the movement of some parts of the body called motor coordination. Hand-eye coordination can also work poorly even if the person's eyes and vision are not affected and if their motor control skills work properly. Any alteration of the visual and motor system can significantly affect eye-hand coordination. Visual or muscular problems, strabismus or crossed eyes, amblyopia, muscle hypotonia, balance problems or crossed laterality. Poor hand-eye coordination can affect activities that may lead to developmental disorders, learning disorders related to reading, writing, and playing sports. In academics, making mistakes when they take notes, poor handwriting, poor attention. Professional areas, in typing or assembling objects, and problems with daily activities. Hence, poor hand-eye coordination can have variety of causes. Two main conditions for inadequate hand-eye coordination. Vision impairment, loss of vision that makes it hard or impossible to perform daily tasks without specialized adaptation. Movement disorders, characterized by impaired body movement caused by variety of causes. Ataxia, lack of coordination while performing voluntary movements. Hypertonia, abnormal increase in muscle tension and reduced ability of a muscle to stretch.
So now, let's proceed to hand-eye coordination development stage. And there are different stages of this. The first stage is between birth to 3 years old. In this, the infant can start to develop the vision that allows them to follow slowly moving objects with their eyes. Second, begin to develop the basic hand-eye skills such as reaching, grasping objects, feeding, and dressing. Third, begin to recognize the concept of place and direction such as up and down, in and out. Fourth, develop the ability to manipulate objects with fine motor skills. Second stage is between 3 to 5 years old. In this, the children continue to develop hand-eye coordination skills and preference of left and right-handedness. Second, continue to understand the use concept of place and direction, such as up and down, under and besides. Third, develop the ability to climb, run, balance, push and pull, and take the stairs one at a time. Fourth, develop eye-hand body coordination, eye taming, and depth perception. The third stage is between 5 to 7 years old. In this, the children continue to improve fine motor skills such as handling, writing tools, and using scissors. Second, continue to develop climbing, running, balancing, and jumping abilities. Third, continue to improve hand-eye coordination and handedness preference. Fourth, learn to focus on vision of a school to work 4 hours every day. Next topic is all about visual literacy. In the advent of internet, Students must develop the necessary visual literacy skills to navigate the image-intense world. Therefore, visual literacy refers to interpreting, creating visual images, and usually about communication and interaction. Visual literacy is an ability to read, write, and creating visual images. It is a concept that relates to an art, design, and has much wider application. It is about language, communication, and interaction. Visual media is a linguistic tool with which we can communicate, exchange ideas, and navigate our highly visual digital world. The term was first coined in 1969 by John Gibbs, who was the founder of International Visual Literacy Association. Gibbs explained that visual literacy refers to a group of vision competence, a human being who can develop by seeing, having, and integrating visual sensory experience. According to Oxford Research Encyclopedia, visual literacy it is an ability to interpret, negotiate, and make meaning from the information presented in a form of an image, extending the meaning of literacy, which commonly signifies interpretation in a written text or printed text. It is therefore based on the idea that picture can be read and the meaning can be through a reading process. Serafini of 2017 asserted that visual literacy is a set of visual competence or cognitive skills and strategies one needs to make a sense of visual images. These visual competence were seen as universal cognitive abilities that were used for understanding visual images regardless for context of a production, reception, and dissemination. More contemporary definitions stress that visual literacy is a contextualized, a social practice as much as an individualized, cognitively based set of competence. It is also a process of generating meaning and transaction of multimedia and ensembles with written text, visual images, and design elements for a variety of perspectives to meet the requirement of social context. Theories of visual literacy can be integrated across discipline. Therefore, visual literacy is now incorporated with socio-cultural, semiotic, critical, and multimodal perspective to understand the meaning that are potential of a verbal and visual ensembles encountered in social context. Serafini of 2017 explains that digital technology has great impact to our understanding of visual literacy, as we now see that children growing up with tables and computers what appear to be highly developed visually literacy instincts. Now, let's proceed to verbal creativity. In a view of a rapid increasing complexity of the world, creativity is more important than ever before, and even considered as useful and effective response to evolutionary change, since it is allows the individual to flexibly respond to continuous change condition around. Torrance in 1969 in Hansen recognized creativity as important for the development of fully functioning, mental healthy, well-educated, and vocational successful individual. It is because of growing recognition of the importance of creative functioning and there sufficient evidence of universality of creativity. Scott of 2004 cited that creativity related skills can be improved by providing specific rules, techniques, and strategies to develop appropriate cognitive skills for the domain at hand. This could be realized through creative ideation, training, and divergent thinking experience. Divergent thinking is useful concept for identifying, supporting, and measuring creativity as a process of actualize oneself, manipulating internal and external symbols as creation of illustrative ideas based on his or her knowledge sense regarding people and object to produce on. There are four major components of divergent thinking skills. First, we have the fluency. Fluency refers to a total number of ideas, options, and solutions generated for an open-ended problem. Second, we have the flexibility. It is the number of conceptual categories. Third, we have originality. It is the aspect of created or invented work and is about statistical and frequency of response related to the task compared to the original ideas. And last, we have the elaboration. It is the ability to expand the ideas and the details and the ability to create an accurate plan. Fink of 2012 explains that cognitive stimulation through common or moderate creative ideas was effective and improving verbal creativity. And most importantly, stimulation effects were also apparent at the level of the brain. As such, a widespread creative relative neutral network includes left middle and superior temporal gene along with the right parietal cortex being sensitive and cognitive stimulation.
Evening, everyone. I am Julia Seth and Poniente, and we are now moving on to aesthetics. What is aesthetic? In noun, aesthetic means relating to the enjoyment or the study of beauty. It is also concerned with the study of the mind and the feelings in relation to the perception of beauty. As an adjective, it refers to an object or work of art that exhibits great beauty. While in millennial words or worlds, it is all about making someone experience something with their work. On the other hand, Britannica defines aesthetics, which is also spelled as ESTHETICS aesthetics, as the philosophical study of beauty and taste. It is closely related to the philosophy concerned with the nature of art and the concepts of which individual works of art are interpreted and evaluated. In perspective, it is an interesting and puzzling realm of experience. It could be a realm of beautiful, the ugly, the sublime, and the elegant. Of taste, we have criticism and fine art, and of contemplation, sensuous enjoyment and charm. In all these phenomena, similar principles operate and similar interests are engaged. You see, the different perception of anything and almost everything to anyone can be a form of art and considered as aesthetics. The nature of aesthetics is to preserve the beauty of an individual expression and perspective regarding art, emotion, and natural phenomena. On the other hand, aesthetics does not only concern with the essence and meaning of art, but also with the emotional reactions to the natural things that are expressed in the language of beauty and ugliness. The words beautiful and ugliness are too ambiguous and subjective in their use. Although all on earth may be considered beautiful by anyone from his or her own perspective, though various people also may use the term differently and have little or nothing in common. Both are based on judgment, which basically we are all having a nature as human to judge almost in everything. It is also possible that the word beautiful has little meaning other than as an expression of an attitude which people can associate with various behaviors. Furthermore, despite philosophers' insistence on the words beautiful and disgusting, beauty becomes a minor point of debate when describing what appeals in nature. When appreciating a poem is an example, it can be described as ironic, moving, expressive, balanced, harmonious, and even boring, right? Just as it can be described when appreciating a poem. Similarly, rather than being stunning, a favorite stretch of countryside can be considered as calm, gentle, atmospheric, harsh, or and evocative, right? We can perceive everything as trash, or we can also perceive everything as beautiful. So, aesthetics is mainly all about the perception of a human being on something or to someone or even to an emotion or a phenomenon. Moving on, we have the three approaches to aesthetics. Number 1, it is the study of aesthetics concepts or the analysis of language criticism in which particular judgments are singled out and their logic and justifications are presented. This can also be considered as the aesthetics historical and philosophical aesthetics, since it is all mainly about the debate regarding with the criticism of the aesthetic language. Number 2, we have there, it is the philosophical study of a certain states of mind, responses, attitudes, and emotions that are involved in an aesthetic experience, or can be stated also as the aesthetic perception and experience. This kind of approach is what we are experiencing simply every day in our lives. The way we perceive how we were going to respond onto someone, onto something in a certain situation. Number 3, we have it is the philosophical study of aesthetic object that reflects the view that problems of aesthetics exist because the world contains special objects toward which people react selectively as described in aesthetic terms. Lastly, aesthetic inquiry, which basically raises questions to the different personal reactions. We have here, as what I have mentioned earlier, we have different perceptions, we have different views on everything. That's why it can also be called as the aesthetic inquiry, since it can create questions or inquiries in our minds onto how would other people see that way that I can only see this way. Okay? Last topic for this group, we have integrating arts and creativity literacy into the curriculum. The following are strategies and initiatives in embedding arts and creative literacy in the curriculum. Number 1, physical environment. We should design a physical environment to support creativity, such as castle designed school building, well architecturally designed office, roofs and ceilings, creative murals, beautiful garden landscape, colorful blocks and benches in math and science garden, structured music and room or studios, student lounge, and etc. These can draw attention of students, in which would be more helpful for them to appreciate and enjoy learning instead of just facing a book and chalkboard all day. Agree? Can anyone else agree with me that the more we would love about what we see in our surroundings, the more we would want to go to school every day, right? Number 2, we have emotional environment. We have to take time to create and maintain a climate of respect, caring, and support to someone when making mistakes. It is important to value how students feel rather than only concentrating on what is learned and developed academically, which is why various creative approaches to involving students' lives must be facilitated. Next, project-based learning, or PBL. Provide students time, space, and opportunity to express themselves, their ideas, emotions, and insights through arts. Design and plan any projects that are relevant, rigorous, and real-world to attain motivation, engagement, and learning. This way will also assess students in exercising and enhancing their creativity through the introduction of projects and outputs. Number 4, we have teach creative thinking skills. It is very important to teach students about metacognition, or thinking about their thinking, even to the little ones, through the process of brainstorming, reasoning, comparing and contrasting, problem solving, concept mapping, analyzing, evaluating, and more. Because recognition of metacognition is one of the most important requirements of a school curriculum. As a practice, allowing students to use their innovative and critical thinking skills is a must. Number 5, we have alternative assessments. We should always provide a beam of processes such as efficiency, system design, product output creating, visual arts, development, task-based, project-based, portfolio, and others, with rubrics and other types of metrics instead of just a worksheet or an assignment. In this way, we could allow ourselves also to get involved to the students' development. It could be academically, emotionally, or skillfully. Number 6, we have scheduling. Project-based curriculum and performance-based assessment need ample time and proper scheduling in their structured or unstructured manner. Time management is an important value to emphasize, particularly in our school curriculum, which is why scheduling aids in the practice of management. Number 7. Student-centered and personalized learning. We should provide students freedom to choose on what they will learn, how they will learn it, and how they will demonstrate what they have learned. Conducting personalized and student-centered learning is one of the most efficient ways to provide a dynamic teaching-learning process or method, since we, most of the time, not just sometimes, we need to learn to see and even experience things or phenomena beyond what is written in our books. Number 8. Incorporate arts. To foster imagination, seamlessly incorporate music, art, drama, and dance into the curriculum. Just like, for example, allowing the students to make a 3D model of solar system, or even conducting a drama skit, or role play on how cells work. Number 9. Integration of technologies. Encourage students to create and utilize blogs and websites, Blogster, VoiceThread, student publishing, video game design, coding, filmmaking, photography, global collaborative classroom projects using Google Hangouts, and etc. Since we are becoming more reliant on what technology has to offer in today's world, it is a recent trend to combine technology with learning, to ensure learning even while using technology and other gadgets. It will also help us to keep up with the advancement of our era in this manner. And lastly, we have preparing the body and brain for creativity. We should always create activities that include body-mind integration, such as yoga, ballet, jazz, Zumba, calisthenics, and etc. Writing a poem, solving theoretical and scientific equations, and drawing or painting are all examples of art. However, art also recognizes the ability to move one's body. So it is also important to allow ourselves to move skillfully. That's why, or in order for us to be more holistically developed. That would be all. Thank you and good night.